It's me and Dr. V. Dr. V's getting some stuff down there, making sure he's looking good, getting everything ready for us. Before we get into the show, hey, Dr. V, I don't want to interrupt you. You're getting that last picture we need. I want to note something. This snow, they actually called it. They called it correctly. I was up already, did some shoveling. We were at 7 inches when I started shoveling. Now there's another 3 inches on top of the 7, on top of where I shoveled. I'm figuring I should leave it there because of all the ice that's going to be coming down in a couple of hours. But wow, it's going to be crazy. Tomorrow's shoveling out is going to be wildness, Joe. What do you got? Is it really bad there?
No, whatever you get, we get it 2 hours later.
Okay, and you're going to be shoveling, or you have other people shovel for you?
I got people.
See, that's the difference. He gets people, and I do it. So if you find I fall over or my back's killing me, you know what happened, okay? I'm the old guy trying to stay in shape. We got that. I'll tell you this, then we're going to jump into the show. Man, that New England game is going to be vicious with all this snow coming down.
They're not playing in New England. They're in Denver.
I'm sorry. They're in Denver. I thought they were in New England.
No.
Oh, Denver. Bummer. Just think how great that would have been, and that snow would have been incredible. What a visual that would have been. Sorry, blew it. Forget Denver. Okay, here we go. Just an American citizen, Joe and I, me and Dr. V. Let's talk about what's happening. I assume Spartacus is there. Spart, what you doing? Good to see you, my friend.
Mike is there.
Mike, love you, Mike. Let's get it. You're a good guy. Let's get into where we are and see if we can get people to watch who are not out there actually shoveling, because most people got a shovel, unlike Dr. V. We're out there. Let's see what happened. We had an American killed yesterday. Do you have a picture of him, Joe?
Yep. Alex.
He's an American in Minneapolis, a VA nurse who deals with veterans, helps veterans get better. And wow, here he is. Here's a picture. Alex Preddy. Can we make that bigger? Yeah, move it to the right. I don't know how to do this, Joe. I can't do it. Okay, I blew it. I'm going to minimize it again. There's Alex Preddy. I'm sorry. Man shot by federal agents. A nice guy. A VA nurse. Someone who's been there trying to help people, help Americans, help veterans, and say, help everyone. Whoops, we lost Joe. We're coming back. Somebody's going to say bad technicals. We're getting it. We're getting it down. They killed this guy. Now, let's see what happened here. We've got 3,000 or more ICE guys thrown in. The first thing that Kristi Noem said after they pumped 10 pieces of lead into this guy, they pumped 10 shots of lead into this guy laying on the ground. The first thing Kristi Noem said was he approached them threatening to kill him, and they felt in fear of their lives. Very much like Kristi Noem said before they killed Renee Good, that the ICE guys were stuck on an ice mound, which they weren't. So Kristi Noem says, here we are, okay? And he's being attacked. So we get videos. Has anybody seen any of the videos? Let's look at the videos here. It's just for fun. I'm going to just kind of note some headlines on the videos. Washington Post. I know what you're all going to say, but federal agents secured gun from man before fatal shooting video show, and they do. And there's the picture of the ICE guy carrying the gun away before one shot his head is made. Next, Times. Videos appear. I love how they use the word, but you got to say appear before you get everybody nervous because they've already been sued once. Videos appear to contradict federal accounts of fatal shooting. How about this one? Wall Street Journal. Videos not appear. Videos contradict U.S. account of Minneapolis shooting. What does Fox show? Nothing. It talks about Don Lemon like he is anything. Don Lemon, a reporter from used to be CNN years ago, meaningless. We'll talk about those people went into church. They got arrested. I think they should get arrested. But I'm not into that. Here's what we're talking about is death. Kristi Noem came on TV, and the guy who's that guy, Rocolo Joe, who's the head of the ICE there, who's wearing the Nazi uniform, the Nazi outfit, okay? He's putting up something here, Dr. V.
I'm trying to get a good screenshot of what you're talking about.
That's okay. Joe, you're lost. Well, forget it. Now we're going to get hit on the technology. Forget it. I'm sticking with this. He's not a technology guy. But so Kristi Noem comes on and says, look, I don't know if she used the word brandished. I saw the press conference, but this guy came in and threatened these people so they felt in fear of their lives. What did the video show? Every video with angles shows that the guy was taking a video. He was shooting a video of what's going on.
You want to see a picture of that?
No, not yet. He's showing a video of what's going on. And when he went in and was taking a video, they pushed a woman. These are the facts. These are what the videos show. Look. They pushed a woman down. He then went to help the woman. They attacked him. Seven ICE guys. They're not agents. 7 masked ICE thugs attacked them. Came after him. Put him on the ground. In the video show, he's on his hands and knees and then face down. Then the video shows that one of the ICE agents pulls a gun from him and is leaving. Just as he's leaving, another ICE agent pulls a gun and pumps 9 to 10 shots of lead into this guy. How many did they need to kill him? Did you see him laying there? Think about it. Boom, 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 boom. Shooting and killing an American. That's what was happening. Just taking them out. And then they come out afterwards and lie and maintain the lie that, hey, he was attacking them. Then this is the best part, Joe, or one of the best parts. He had a gun. Wow. These MAGAs who have been yelling for years, and the Trumpers for years, Second Amendment, Second Amendment, Second Amendment, Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. Joe and I have taken the position from the beginning, and I have from years ago, we're unabashed gun control believers, okay? That there's got to be a way to maintain so everybody doesn't have a gun and is walking in the streets. And years ago, when it all got passed 3-4 years ago, you saw all these people come out with rifles and firearms to prove they went into government offices. They went into marches to prove that they could carry their guns. They could carry their guns, Joe, because they were tough. Wasn't there also who was that kid who came running into a riot and killed some guys and got off, found not guilty by a jury and got off? That was all great when they were all carrying the guns. This guy legally had a carry permit because of the Second Amendment. He's entitled to carry a gun. He had the gun according to Minnesota law, and now they're on him for having a gun. They're saying, look, he had a gun. What does that have to do with anything? He sure didn't pull it. They got no pictures, and he had the right to have a gun. And it's you MAGAs who told people they had the right to have a gun. That's where we are there. So you sit there and you go, let's see something. I'm going to give him one more shot here. Yeah, there it is.
The cell phone. He's holding the cell phone.
Taking him out. It's horrible, Dr. V. It's horrible. So think about it. These guys, and does anybody feel bad? No. Now let's take it a step further. Not only did they blow this guy away, 7 guys, did you see him kicking him on the videos? Just beating the hell out of him, kicking him, doing everything. This isn't Don Lemon. This is an American doing nothing but exercising his rights.
Another video, another picture.
I'm sure we got to get to that one. You have that going on, and they're beating him up. Forget the gun. Before the gun, they're beating him up. You see a guy with his knee is kicking him either with his knee or his foot. They're banging on him. They're tying him up, and he's on his face. Yet he was a threat. He was a threat. Okay, a threat to what? A threat to fool disclosure, a threat to honesty. This is Orwellian. This is Ministry of Information. We've been talking about this 1984 for years. And I would think that the people on the right would be sick about this, because what's going to happen to you when government comes after you for something? This isn't a politicized thing. This is a murder rampage. It appears to be almost a murder rampage, Joe. These guys aren't thinking twice about killing people. They're just coming out and killing them. It looks like the USSR. It looks like Russia. It looks like all these countries that say, yeah, if you disagree, we have a problem. And then you look at Fox News on Bret Baier Friday. I watch Fox News, I tell you all the time, and they hardly even mentioned they had a major march, a nice peaceful march, massive march on Friday. Hardly mentioned it. Gone. Doesn't want to talk about any of that. Wants to talk about some schmoes who went into a church service and messed it up and got started going after the priest, or the preacher, not a priest, who's going after the preacher. Now, look, when people are praying, leave them alone, will you? I heard this lady go on TV who got arrested, and she's moaning and she's groaning and she did everything right. No, she didn't. If people are praying, leave them alone in church. Leave them alone in shul. Leave them alone in a mosque. They're praying. They're praying. You don't go in and protest inside there. It's wrong, okay? And she's being charged with I don't know what. It'll be up to the jury, but she was wrong, she and her friends. But what does that have to do with pulling out a gun and pumping 10 shots of lead into an innocent American, Joe? What does that have to do with pulling out a gun and pumping 3 slugs into a woman trying to get away, another American? What does that have to do? Is this my favorite picture, Joe, of the guy?
Yeah.
No, how about the guy? How about the guy they carried out in Chicago? The Vietnamese guy in his shorts, the American who had come from Vietnam. Okay, I think it was a Hmong, from the Hmong tribe, I believe. So we do this, and they're going in, they're taking out Americans. The Minnesota police have said, I think it was the Minnesota police or one of the counties of the police around Minnesota or Minneapolis, they said their officers are being picked up by ICE. Their minority officers, Joe, are being picked up by ICE. Think about this. Why? Because they're minorities? Look at this guy. Here's an American. Yeah, it's small, but look it up. That's an American being taken out in the snow and the ice with, what is that, a little blanket around them and some shorts and in cuffs. They take them out and they announce to Kristi Noem with another lie, and that guy wearing his SS outfit, his SS coat uniform that he likes to wear, they get out and say, oh, he was hiding 2 people. 2 people they were after. Not true. Joe, one of the guys they were after is in jail already and has been in jail for a while. But no, it's easier. And then what did they do after they took this American out of his house in his shorts, in the snow, in the winter? They just dropped him off afterwards. No apologies. No, we don't care. It's easy. Just kick in the door and take down Americans. And that's what people have got to start seeing. It doesn't matter if you're right wing, if you're left wing, if you're middle wing, east, west, north, or south. Trump is on the rampage. They call these guys domestic terrorists. Did they call him a domestic terrorist, Joe? I don't remember. The American they took out of the house. They probably did. Probably. They called that innocent American. They pumped 10 pieces of lead into a domestic terrorist. They called Renee Good a domestic terrorist, yet they are taking the evidence right after it happens and they're leaving. They don't, how everybody watches CSI, right? Isn't CSI the biggest show on TV, Joe? These police procedurals. Everybody talks about the police procedurals. I never watch them, ever, because I have my own reasons. But I did love 5-0 in the old days. The police, and I did like the new 5-0, the later 5-0. I was bummed it ended. The way it ended was too fast. But I did love it. Dano got handled. But I'm sorry, Joe, I had to get into that. The problem you got is everybody watches CSI and the procedurals, and they know when somebody gets shot or there's a murder or something, the police come in, they put on the gloves, they tape it off, right? They go in, they get the evidence, they pick it up, they put it in a bag, they mark the bag, they do all that kind of stuff. That's not what ICE does. ICE just takes it. They took this gun and took the gun out with them. Who knows if it's the same gun? Who knows what gun that is? I think I read somewhere on Reddit, though, and I read it on Reddit, I can't say for sure. They said there was a picture of this gun up 3 or 4 days before this even happened. I just read it on Reddit. That's all I can say about that. But the bottom line is, where is the evidence? Why won't they let the American people see the evidence? Rather, you got a guy like Miller who gets on TV and keeps talking domestic terrorists, and the lies are just blowing out of their mouths. Where what should be coming out of their backside is coming out of their mouths. And I do believe it. I can't understand why these MAGA people who believe what you believe, and I say right on, don't see that, well, number one, they're hiding Epstein files. She's breaking the law, Pam Bondi. They've only come up with 1% of the Epstein files. 1%, Joe, that's it. Good way to hide it because Trump is hiding something there. He's hiding a lot there, okay? A whole lot rolling with it. Yeah, bring the Clintons in. I don't care. I don't know what Hillary has to do with them. You bring in Bill Clinton, bring them in. Right on. Bring in Trump. Let's see what he has to say. Let's see what his buddies have to say that were in there. Bring in Pam Bondi and find out what's going on. But no. She thinks they're domestic terrorists. She says they're coming after everybody. So you know what she does last night? She proposes a trade. Did you see this? Hey, we'll pull out the troops if you give us the Minnesota voter rolls. Right. Think about this. They want state voter rolls. Don't give me this MAGA where they're looking into it to make sure it's all real and true. No, it isn't. They're trying to fix the elections because they know in 2026 they're in trouble. Well, it is 2026. They know in November of this year they're in big trouble. So they're already going in trying to fix the elections now by getting a hold of the machines before anybody can even put in votes. And then they want to get, and that's how they're going to do it, but they get it by getting all the information on all these people who are going to be out there. You, your name, your address, what you do, almost finding out, they find out where you live, maybe how you vote. How about that? Think about it. How crazy is this? So in return for getting the surge out, these troops out of there, these masked thugs, and that's all they are. They're masked thugs. They're not the Lone Ranger. They're not Zorro. They're masked thugs going back to the days of the 1800s when they went into the saloons and started killing people. It's Devo. It's devolution. All of you who believe, and I'm calling it out, who go for the BS that Miller puts out, that Trump puts out about these killings, when you know by looking at the videos that your eyes aren't lying, and yet you still take up for these mass thugs, and you still take up for Trump and Vance, the liars, and Noam, the liar, Noam, who's great at killing puppies and is proud of it and puts it in a book. She's tough with her hat and all of her facial work that she had done. But man, she has no problem lying about people that the people under her kill. They kill them. They don't care. Do you know that in Minneapolis, Joe, there's been 3 murders this year? 2 of them are by ICE. 2 of them are by ICE. Okay? They are coming in and slaughtering people. They don't care. And this is the perfect cover for Trump to pull in the Insurrection Act. Now, let's be clear about where we stand. We are every week. We believe in total nonviolence here, don't we, Joe? Just an American citizen, me and Dr. V. Complete and absolute nonviolence, because nonviolence wins. We grew up in the time when you saw the civil rights marches and Vietnam marches, but people saw, especially the civil rights marches, when the cops down there were taking hoses and blowing people away, blowing black people, doing nothing blowing them away, trying to sit at a table, trying to cross a bridge, and just killing them and taking them apart. And good people in America saw it and saw how these innocent people using nonviolent protests to be able to ask for their rights. It turned the rest of the country. And that's why this has to stay nonviolent here. Invading a church sanctuary is wrong. It just gets people turned against you. It gives people like Fox or companies like Fox the right to be able to lie about what's going on, to turn the focus away from what is really happening out there. This is what is happening. This man, Trump, is ready to send in the forces. You're going to hear about the 1,500 troops are going to have to go blowing in there. It's going to be a strike force. And how many more people are going to die? He doesn't care, Joe. I don't care. I'll use the word apparent, but I keep saying it. Let's stick with nonviolence, no matter how angry you get. I'm angry as can be. I'm outraged. Joe is. He just doesn't look like it. I'm outraged. Okay? I'm like, I can't believe this. But to use violence against violence only gives Trump and the liars like him and the rest what they need to send in the long guns so they can start mowing down Americans. And we can't let that happen. If you want to sit in the street and be prepared to be arrested, right on. Do it non-violently. But I'll tell you this, all these people who are taking videos, Joe, did you know that ICE and DHS are now getting their names and putting it into a database? Think about the swamp, MAGA guys. You all talk about the swamp. You wanted the swamp to end. Under Trump, with Kristi Noem and Vance and Miller, are getting names of people who are using their phones to video the BS that's going on out there. They have the right to do it. It's called the First Amendment. And they're trying to take the phones from them and go into their homes and steal from them. That's the Fourth Amendment. You have the right to use your phone in video. Why is the government so afraid of people who are going to video that they're now going to put together a database? So all you who do that, all they want to do is scare you. Just keep doing what you got to do. It's going to turn. It's eventually going to turn because the good people of America are going to see what's happening. And the MAGAs, Joe, I believe many are going to wake up. But I watched Senator Kennedy last night on Bill Maher. Senator Kennedy, I think he's from Louisiana, always has a great cliche, a great little joke. He's funny. He does everything. But when they raised questions about Trump, he gave the same, well, he's not going to change. Well, he's not going to do this. And they didn't say to him, why aren't you pushing him to change, Senator Kennedy? What are you doing to bring this out? But they can't do it because these guys are scared to death of Trump. And as we go forward with this, it's going to get tougher and tougher. And I got to believe that we're going to break some of the MAGAs away from there. Okay, Joe? I have to believe it. But I'm watching. I don't see Marjorie Taylor Greene coming out and saying, wow, it's horrible that Americans are getting killed. I don't see it. Boebert comes out and thinks it's, yeah, right on. I went after her at X. You just sit there and you go, where are these people coming from? But it's got to end. And the only way we beat it is with nonviolent protests, Joe. Non-violence. If the cops come up, not the cops are cool. I think the cops are right on. If the ICE thugs come up to you and tell you to roll down your window, roll down your window. If the ICE masked thugs come up to you and tell you to open your door, open your door. Just do it, okay? But how about, can I give you a little trick, Joe? Just a little fun trick here. They tell you to open the window, you open it right. And they say, okay, now get out. So you close the window, you get out, and you lock the door. Now, they can't go into your car unless they see something in there, which they're not going to see because it's locked. So they have to say to you, can we have permission to go into your car? And you go, no. And they start asking you more questions. They go, no. People will video this. Then if they want to get into your car and just destroy it, or if they want to lock you up because you refuse to waive your Fourth Amendment rights, okay? People will see that also. But think about it. Get out of the car and lock the car behind you. They don't have the right to go into the car. That's your personal space. That's your Fourth Amendment protection. And if they want to then go and violate the Fourth Amendment protection, they'll do it on TV. That's how we start beating them, Joe. That's how we start doing it. But don't say no to them unless after you lock the door, you say, no, I'm not going to agree to you go into my car. That's something different. But if they tell you to roll it down, roll it down. They tell you to get out of the car, get out of the car. Then lock the door and say, yes, officer, what is it that you wish? And just go through it. Okay, what are they going to say? What are they going to say? They're going to put you against the car? Yes, officer. Whatever you wish, officer. I'll do it. Can I go into your car? No, you can't go into my car, officer. Why not? Because I don't allow it. I'm not agreeing to it. Why not? Because I'm not agreeing to it. Don't have to say anything else because I'm not agreeing to it. Joe's having a good time with this one because I'm not agreeing to it. It's that simple. That's a little psh move. I like little psh moves. That way you're being nonviolent and you're using your rights, and most importantly, you're listening to this person who's threatening you and doing what this masked thug is telling you to do. That's what you do. Then what are they going to say? They got a problem at that point. Why does MAGA have a problem with that? And does MAGA have a problem with that guy carrying a gun? Joe, I'm going to take a breath here. I'm going to say, I saw you laughing, so I don't know what you're laughing about. I'm going to say, run.
Just looking at the mosh pit.
Okay, go ahead. What are you laughing about, Joe? Tell me.
Someone said to blink 3 times if I needed help.
Did you blink?
I did. Oh, shoot.
Too much. Is there anything going on in the mosh pit?
Yeah, the usual. People seem to be just holding their own positions and not listening very much, but maybe somebody's listening.
Are they looking at the videos, Joe, or is anybody sitting there saying?
I don't know. Do people like the videos?
I'm sorry?
Give me your feedback.
Right. We'd like to know.
Put your feedback in the mosh pit and I'll do more of that sort of thing.
Right. Joe will run with that thing. I want to know what's going on, guys. If you think MAGAs, you right-wingers think, and I say right on that the videos show that the killing of this innocent man was okay. Please explain why and explain what the video shows that makes you believe that. That's what I'd like to know. And then, assuming you can't do that, explain why you think people like Kristi Noem and Vance could come out lying and just blowing BS out when they should be telling us the truth. I'd sure like to hear all that. Joe, is anybody like saying, oh, I've seen a video and it proves that they had the right to lace 10 slugs into this man?
I mean, I keep looking for some comment that I could
engage,
that I could highlight a little bit that shows some logic, but it's really hard to find that. So
that's sad. It's really hard to find it, isn't it? Well, what do you expect from logic? Because if you talk about on the right-hand side, let me just kind of quickly jump to why not just take over Greenland while we're at it, right? 54,000 people there. We're going to be tough. It's like, why don't we just tell the world they're horrible? Why don't we just tell NATO that they're meaningless and they would never help us, but we only help them? Why don't we just admit to the world that they want 3 powers, Oceania, which is us and Orwell, Russia and China, and and have no friends. No friends. So long ago, we talked about that, Joe. No friends. Okay? America's got no friends. We are not loved or liked or anything anymore. We were the hegemon. We are not liked anymore. But now the question is, how can anybody be a friend with Trump? You look at Trump as an American, and you know, this is what I loved about Fox. Oh, man, what a negotiator he is. He was tough with them, and now they're giving us Greenland. When there was a deal on Greenland since World War II. We could have done whatever we wanted there, but no, he's got to be, oh, I'm tough. The same guy who made sure that it appears that Daddy helped them get out of the Vietnam War with 5 exemptions, right, because of his bone spurs. There are others who may call it cowardice. So you sit there, and this is the man who hugs our flag. Yet this same guy has no trouble killing Americans, killing innocent Americans. Joe, say something. I'm going to go into the chat, Joe. I'm going under the mosh pit. I'm just all worked up.
I don't know if you'll find much substance there, but go ahead.
Well, Brian says that people at ICE do their job. You mean do what, Brian? You can't take pictures of ICE. You can't take videos of ICE. You're not stopping them from doing their job. You're taking videos. And why is ICE there? Remember, just last night, Brian, I appreciate Brian's comment, Joe. Just last night, Bondi, the Attorney General, said, "You give us your voting rolls, and maybe we'll pull out." What does that say? That says that ICE was put in there in bad faith, not to do any job except to try to extract stuff from Minneapolis, while at the same time trying to do an investigation on the leaders there who are doing all we can do, who are just telling the truth and tell you what you think. We don't need this, GTFU. I'll remember that for next time. MAGA. Okay, what does MAGA mean? Trump saves the world. Kim, how did Trump save the world? I'm happy to hear you feel it. Please tell us. Joe will jump and I'll jump. How does Trump saving the world? How's he doing it? I'm waiting to hear it. Benjamin says somebody's a dumbass. Oh, come on. Calling people names to do you any, Fred. Drive a truck. If a cop tells you to do something, right. I agree, Mike Danone. You heard what I said. Totally. A cop pulls you over, even if these masked thugs pull you over. Roll down the window if they ask. Open the door if they want you to get out, and get out of the car and try to lock the door afterwards. That's the bottom line. So, yeah, Mike, you're right. That's what should be done. That is nonviolent protests. Can't see you because they're dark, and just stay out of the way. You won't get hurt. So simple. And ICE is federal law. I'm lost here, Martin. Martin says you can't see your car because you're tinted windows. So what? The tinted windows are dark. You can't look into somebody's house if they have tinted windows. There's no difference. You have the right to break in the windows because you think you see something going on because you feel like it. That's the same thing. It's called Fourth Amendment, Martin. Stay out of the way of law enforcement. What do you mean stay out of the way? How are you in their way? You're taking pictures. You're taking videos. That's called the First Amendment, Martin, and you won't get hurt. Right. That you so simple. ICE is federal law for ISIS. ICE is no more than masked thugs, and they're not enforcing federal law. They are breaking federal law. Coffee Gritters needs a break. Good luck, Joe. He couldn't help you anymore. Good seeing you, Coffee Gritters. I hate coffee. I don't drink coffee. Thomas, Taco, he is Taco, but to me, I don't mind if the man moves and changes his position. There's nothing wrong with that. But let's look at Iran. He went out and said to those people, "Keep fighting. I'm behind you. Keep fighting. I'm behind you." Now they say that over 5,000 people have been killed there, and he did nothing. He's supposedly moving an aircraft carrier down there and a whole group down there. I don't know what he's going to do with it, but he's the reason so many of them got killed, because the Iranians listened to Donald Trump and believed him. When you believe Donald Trump, you got a problem when he's telling you to do something good. Your problem is you got to believe him when he's telling you something bad, because that's when he's telling you the truth. He ain't telling you the truth otherwise. We don't need friends. Honor. We don't need friends. We need America to stop bending over. Honor. Do you have any friends? Do you have friends? Do you don't think friends are necessary? What are we saying? Of course they're necessary. And America needs friends. We haven't been bending over. They've been bending over to us, Honor. It was the American century. Who are you kidding? The entire trading system was around America. The entire trading system is around the dollar. The entire trading system was around our bonds. That's the fact, Honor. We weren't bending over. Everybody was working with us, and we were trying to be cool about it. But not any longer, because we're not bending over. We're making them bend over for no reason whatsoever. And because of it, now they're all starting to sell their bonds. That's going to be really good when people stop using American bonds and buying them, and they stop using the dollar, and the dollar goes down in value while gold starts blowing up. That really makes a lot of sense.
So I finally found a good comment in the mosh pit by Mike.
Go for it.
Mike. So he's pointing out that what's going on, Trump is probably going to sign the Insurrection Act by the end of the week.
Right.
Mark, can you explain to people what the Insurrection Act is and what its implications are?
Okay, it was called the Posse Comitatus, and that was basically posse being bringing people on. The Insurrection Act is if the government, if the state governments can't control, there's a major riot or something going on, he wants to use the Posse Comitatus Act and send in American troops to take on Americans. Now, American troops have been sent in before, Joe.
This is like the Army, Navy, Marines.
The Army. They've already had 1,500 strike troops in almost every state, and they've got this one in Alaska already because the Alaskans are used to the cold, and they're going to bring them in. And these are strike troops. But the only times they've been used before is when we actually needed them. Everybody heard, well, you're all too young, the 1967 riots, was it 67 to 68 riots after Dr. King got killed? We had riots in Baltimore and D.C. and Philly. We had to bring in the National Guard. We had to do it. Some sicko killed Dr. King. Sick. But we had to bring him in. Then they had, what was his name in California, Joe, who was beat up by the cops, and they had
Rodney King.
Rodney King. They had to bring him in then. But in those situations, the governors asked him to come in. It wasn't the president deciding unilaterally, I'm going to send them in.
So when was the last time a president unilaterally brought federal troops into a city?
I would unilaterally. I think it was in Alabama when Dwight Eisenhower sent in the troops to get the black kids, when the Supreme Court said that black kids were allowed to go to school there, that Dwight Eisenhower sent in the troops and told George Wallace to stand down so that the kids could go to school. I think that's the last time. But they didn't kill anybody. They escorted the kids into school. While all the white kids, I wish you'd all go look at this, it's called history.
So they didn't point guns at people and come in with masks?
No, they just had them. They walked in, and all these kids were yelling at them, calling them every name in the book. These kids calling them, these white kids were calling these black kids every name in the book, and they were calling the guard that and everything. They didn't care. They didn't pull a gun on them. They just walked the kids in so the kids could get an education.
Yeah. So at that time, were people trying to obstruct their job?
I'm sorry, that's the question.
Were people trying to obstruct the National Guard? Were they protesting?
Those kids on campus were protesting, and Governor Wallace stood in front of the doors.
So he obstructed the National Guard.
He obstructed.
So how many bullets did the National Guard shoot him with?
Zero. How many did they aim at him?
They didn't aim at him.
Right.
They tried to de-escalate the situation.
Right. Why not? How about Lester Maddox, another racist sicko who was governor of Georgia with his axes, and he would sit there with the axes in front of the school. I mean, nobody.
There's another good comment by Zane. Trump is creating chaos so he can bring in the National Guard, bring in the Army, and create more stress and anxiety. And I can tell you, as a doctor, when people are stressed, when people are anxious, they tend to retreat into their own camps, into their own tribes. And you can see that happening in the country right now, that people aren't even paying attention to what's true. They're just interested in telling their story. No one's interested in accountability. No one's interested in finding the facts, the truth of what happened. People are just interested in telling their story. They look at the situation through their prism to try and make their case. Is that the kind of country we want to have? Do we want to look at problems and solve them together? I mean, you can be for border security and still be for freedom of speech. You can be for, human kindness for other people, but still want to have a secure border. It's okay to have a nuanced position on things. You don't have to just listen to your cult leader on either side and just follow verbatim what they tell you to think and say. And that's what I'm concerned about. And I'd like to see some hints in the mosh pit or in other people that people are willing to stand up for the truth, for what's right.
Well, they just like to say TDS, Joe.
I know. Well, I don't know. What's that? The Daily Show or something with the Daily Show? I mean, it's very small. Who cares?
Right.
That's
and the bottom line is,
I'm not going to pay attention to that. I will call out people who make an intelligent comment, because that's what needs to get the headlines.
Right.
Otherwise, you're just looking for a dopamine hit. Who cares about that? Come on. If you're really interested in moving forward and in trying to solve issues, you'll look at the facts. You'll have accountability. And I guess that's the thing about all this that I'm most concerned about, is that there's two human beings who are dead now. And what was their crime? Paletti, he went there to try to direct traffic. He thought he was going to try to do some good. Here's a caring nurse, works in an ICU at the VA hospital. By all accounts, he was interested in, he had no criminal record. He was interested in camping. He was interested in helping people. And he felt compelled to nonviolently express his views that he thought what was happening in his town, in the city that he grew up in, was wrong. That's not only protected by the First Amendment, but that's encouraged, that people are supposed to express their views, to be awake, to be alert to what's happening. And he went there and he saw a woman getting pepper sprayed, getting beat up. And he went to try to help that woman, by all accounts. And according to the video, as he tried to help that woman, that's when the ICE agents grabbed him.
They pushed him when he was doing his shoot too.
He was So I think what upset them was he was holding his camera, taking a video, bringing to light what was happening on the streets. He wasn't instigating anything.
Right, and I'm watching these mosh pit people.
He wasn't instigating anything. He was bringing to light what was happening in the streets.
Right.
The facts.
Right.
And they tried to suppress him by beating him up.
Of course.
And then when he resisted getting beaten up.
He didn't resist, Joe. He went down.
He didn't even resist.
He didn't resist.
So why did they shoot him?
10 times.
Why did they kill him?
And they took the gun, because these guys sit here. I'm watching the mosh pit, and they're not answering your questions. They refuse to look at the videos. Why do the cultists? Why do the Trumpists are afraid of all they say is Trump derangement syndrome? All this. You guys are this. You guys are that. You're not looking at the videos. The videos are clear. He was doing a video of them, and because all
put his picture. Can you put his picture back up?
There he is.
That's a human being. That's
really? Really? He's a human, and he's an American?
A human being.
Can't be.
He's dead now.
Oh, he isn't. He is a terrorist. He's a terrorist.
He had no criminal record.
Bring down America.
He's a nurse. Who grew up in this town.
Right.
He tried to protest or lead to some order. I think he was there to try and direct traffic or whatever. And now he's dead. For what? For what? Because he's a terrorist, Joe. The bottom line is the reason, and we all know what the reason is. The reason's because, and it's like, who was it? Kim, who was going to say it earlier, and we've been saying it also. All Trump wants to do, these TDS people, you don't look at the facts. Look at the videos. You're afraid of the facts? Call me names. I don't care what you call me. Meaningless. Call me Lindell. I liked it. I finally saw it again, Joe. Meaningless. All you do is, if you're calling me names and you're saying things, you can't deal with the facts because you're afraid of the facts. You're afraid of the facts. Okay? And let's be clear. Let's be clear about something. There's no hint in the video that he pulled a gun. So anybody who makes that statement is listening to state-sponsored news. Maybe they saw it on Fox News or whatever, but that is wrong. That is a lie. That's not a fact.
And
look at the video.
Right. And if you don't look at the video, you're no more than just a cultist. Okay. ICE is awesome. Yeah, right. ICE for the win. Great. As they if they shot somebody in your family wall, then Trump would sit there and go, oh, I thought his daddy was a Trump supporter. I wish he still loved me. Of course, that's all Trump cares about. It's really pretty sad here. It's not, ICE does not operate the same level in all 50 states. It isn't true. Where do you come up with that? Of course it isn't. I like to see 3,000 strike forces in Dallas. I like to see 3,000 strike forces in Houston. We don't see it because they make excuses. Oh, they're giving us what we want. No, they're not. You got a governor there who's letting you take his National Guard troops and run around. Bring the strike forces in and start throwing out all the illegals in Dallas and Houston. I want to see that happen. And I want to see how all those Texans are going to say, yeah, throw them all out. It won't happen because as soon as that's what I love. I'm listening to these people sitting here. It's all the same in the mosh pit. You guys aren't looking at reality. You tell me in Texas how you would stand there if you lived in Dallas or you lived in Houston and these guys were coming in with guns. I'll bet you get some Texans out there pulling out their 6-shooters looking for some action against the ICE guys because they wouldn't be happy. That's why you're not in Texas. That's because you got a governor who will roll over to you. Absent that, you're not there pulling things. You're not there pulling illegal people out. The words you use, illegal, bring them out. ICE are cowards. ICE are cowards because they're afraid they take their masks off. It's sick. It's sick. We're not gaslighting. We're telling the truth, E. Tell me where we're wrong. Once again, I loved it. I love seeing this stuff. If he had stayed home. What do you mean if he stayed home? He has the right to be out. ICE shows up, you have the right to be out.
What if ICE stayed home? Why doesn't ICE stay home? Tell me that.
Why doesn't, good point. Well, why doesn't ICE go to Dallas and Houston, Joe, and start rousting illegal aliens there, the people they call illegal aliens? Why don't they go do that and keep thinking about the database they're putting together of Americans that are going to be that are taking videos? Okay, I'm no leftist. I'm an American. You see, that's where he pulled a gun and now he's dead. Angry saint. That's not on the videos. The videos show the exact opposite. He didn't pull a gun. ICE pumped 9 to 10 slugs into him, and now he's dead. That's the truth, okay? That's the truth. Sick. It's just sick. It's just out of there. Get this out. Get him out of the streets. I agree. He was dumb as fuck. Watch the video. He what? What does this guy say? It was an execution. We're sitting here. I'm sorry. I think it disappeared. I don't know. These mosh pits moving so fast, Joe. I don't know how to stay up with everything in here. Thank you on all that. But the fact is, stay out of the way. He wasn't in the way. He was doing a video. That's what you guys are afraid of. Very simple. Very simple. Well, then go into Dallas and Houston and go after them. Go into Mississippi and go after them. Not into the areas that you think vote blue. Go into the areas that vote red and take them out and see what happens. Right. It's sad. I do love Spartacus, by the way. Spartacus, we both love you, the greatest.
Absolutely.
And so many people on here. Go, ICE, go. Yeah, go, get out of here. And illegal invaders? How about that picture Joe pulled up of the American who had come from Vietnam, who's an American, took him out of his house, lied about people being in his house, lied about everything, cuffed him, pulled him out in the snow in shorts, and then left them somewhere. It didn't apology, nothing. It's like, hey, let's.
What about the 5-year-old?
You have it again, Joe?
No, I wanted to talk about the 5-year-old.
How about the 5-year-old? Right, I love this. They took this little kid. They're knocking on the door.
He's a terrorist too, isn't he?
Is
he a terrorist?
No, he was. No, they're not an American. I don't think. Maybe I don't know if he was born here, Joe. But what
he was born here, but he's not American.
The family. I'm not sure if he was born here.
I want people to look at his face.
Right.
Look at the face of that child being
Who's now
hauled
been
away by
taken to
ICE.
Texas.
Is that the kind of country you want to have?
And let's get the facts straight on this too before these people start blowing their jowl out there. Okay? Before they start blowing chow about it. These people, the family was here legally. They had come over. They had filled out the forms required online. And then they went to where they're allowed to go. Okay? They went to whatever the border is, and they were allowed in. They did it all right. They weren't illegal. They're here. They have the right to be here. And now you just want to take it. And now what happens is the mother, they're banging on the door. They're trying to get this little kid to knock on the door. The mother won't answer the door because she's got another son in there that she's afraid they're going to take. Did you know that, Joe? She had another son in there she was afraid they were going to take. So she was afraid to answer the door because she didn't want them to take her other son. That's a fact. That's the truth. That's what happened. That's where we are. But hey, let's take these kids, throw them out. Let's take them all. Let's get rid of all of them, right?
I saw another great comment in the mosh pit. It ran too fast, or I call out the name, but someone said, God hates people who separate families. For all these people who believe that there's some religious imperative with what they do, it's not true. God doesn't want to see families separated. That's not moral. It's not godly. It's what kind of country are we becoming? And I see some excellent comments in the mosh pit that some people are saying maybe there's a reason behind all this, which is that the administration wants to create conflict, wants to
send in the troops,
upset, wants to get people upset, right, so that they can then send in troops. Why do they want troops in there? Not to restore peace and order, but perhaps to interfere with the elections, perhaps to exert their authority and suppress free speech.
Take over the government.
Take over the government. Are we in the middle? I said it a while ago, but are we in the middle of a coup?
And I don't think so. We're not in the middle of a coup.
Well, I mean,
not yet. Joe.
Well, then, are we in the beginning of a coup? Are we setting the foundation for something fishy going on in the midterm elections? And how are you going to respond to it?
Well, the Supreme Court did. They gave him absolute immunity. They gave the emperor absolute immunity, pretty much. So that's what did it. It was the supine court that's in his back pocket. You notice everybody keeps talking about tariffs and how they're going to come down against tariffs. It sure doesn't look like it. They're not coming down with anything because the supines roll over to anything Trump wants. Wait till birthright. That's going to be the big thing. I talked about that earlier. Wait till they give him birthright citizenship and says, you're born here, it doesn't matter. And then
we'll see what happens.
That's
Let's not speculate, but we have facts right now
about the immunity, Joe. They gave him immunity, and that's why he's able to do this, and that's why he's sending in troops, because he wants power. If it isn't here, it's Greenland. If it isn't here, he's Canada. He's now told Canada if they make a deal with China, it's 100% tariffs. If it isn't here, it's Europe. It's anywhere. So he can help his friend Putin, so he can help his friend Z and put his name on everything, and he doesn't care if Americans die. Joe, I've had enough. Let me tell you something. This is devolution. This is hate. This is hate. This is devolving to the Civil War, and this is what Trump is making us do. Devolve. He's the great disuniter, and he's sending in the troops to do whatever he can to take power. It's called devolution, and that's where it is. Joe, you have something to say? Fine, I've had it because I just have had it. I've had it because people don't care about this country. We love this country. A lot of you guys don't.
Well, I'm encouraged.
What?
I'm encouraged by what I'm seeing in the mosh pit today. That I see that people are beginning to open up their eyes, and there's a couple things this week that give me encouragement of how we can hold up this country and be good citizens. And actually, it came from outside this country. I saw Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, stand up at Davos and call out Trump and call out what the administration was doing. And he was not going to take it. Instead of just handing Trump all these fake awards and
angry state, you're wrong,
in his favor, he called out and said, United States is no longer the hegemon. He used that word, a word that you use in many of your videos. We're not the vision that people are looking up to anymore.
Devils is called
people are going to have to
Devils while suit. It's called the Second Amendment. Go ahead, Joe.
People are going to have to stand up to the guy and not take it. I mean, that's how you deal with bullies, by standing up to them. And then Europe rallied together and said, you're not going to be able to take Greenland. And what happened? Taco. Trump chickened out.
Which is okay.
Which is fine. But the point is The point is that he will chicken out in the face of someone standing up and holding a light, holding truth, calling
No,
him
he
out,
won't.
not
No, he
kissing
won't.
his rear end. He will. When the
He
stock
won't.
market went down a couple percentage points, all of a sudden he comes back and says, I'm not going to use force.
That's not
And you
holding the
can
light.
see as his poll numbers go down, and his poll numbers are crashing.
He couldn't care less.
I disagree. I disagree.
All he cares about is
he
money.
reads polls. He looks at ratings.
Meaningless.
He looks at likes.
Meaningless.
He looks at all those things.
Meaningless.
I disagree.
The
He
cult
looks at all
leader
these
doesn't
things
care.
and he changes his opinion. He'll throw somebody under the bus and say, "Oh, all this is going on in Minnesota. That wasn't me.
No
that
way.
was
No way. You're wrong. He's a cult leader and he's not going to do it. He wants to call out the Insurrection Act. He wants to send in the troops. He's already sent in his private thugs, and he's going to send.
As his poll numbers crash, let's see what happens.
They've already
as his poll numbers crash, you'll see all of a sudden, Noam did this. It wasn't me that did this, and he'll fire him,
Joe,
and come back and say, we've made mistakes. I even saw Vance say, well, maybe. First, he says that if an ICE agent shoots somebody, he has 100% immunity. But then as the poll numbers start crashing, and you can see that people are looking at these pictures and they're seeing what ICE is doing, and the popularity for these moves is crashing, then J.D. Vance comes back and says, oh, yeah, they're accountable. And so you can see movement based on public opinion polls.
That's not movement. It's just more lies, Joe. It's all lies. Trump he doesn't care about a poll because the polls are in November, and he can take over a state government now. He can take over voting. He can corrupt the voting. He's already taken billions and put it into his pocket and his family's pocket.
Well, we have to.
From the country.
We absolutely have to be on guard.
We
have to be on guard that he doesn't corrupt the voting.
Money. So if what he does pushes down Bitcoin, he'll get worked up because he's got billions invested in Bitcoin. If something pushed down Melania's movie and it didn't do well, he'd get upset and he'd do something about that. But people dying, Americans, meaningless.
Well, you know what's not meaningless? It's when pictures of someone dying go on the internet,
right,
and people see what he's up to, and his poll numbers start crashing.
They already crashed.
They are crashing, and then all of a sudden he starts moderating his positions. And you know who else sees the poll numbers?
No, they're not.
Republicans are up for re-election.
Meaningless.
And if they want to get reelected, they're not going to support someone who's crashing their chance of getting reelected.
Meaningless.
And so that's why I agree with you in terms of spreading the word, spreading the truth, letting people see what's happening, taking videos, whatever you need to do to show the country and the world what's happening, and people standing up and saying, we're not going to take this anymore. And you can see hints of it in many areas that people are beginning to stand up to the guy and to say, we're not going to take this anymore.
But that's not, it's got nothing to do with those elected people who are afraid they're going to lose their jobs to him. It's meaningless. They ain't rolling over. They just pushed all this money to DHS. They just pumped another, how many billions in the DHS at the House of Representatives? They don't care. They're just pumping the money in. Trump doesn't care. You got to look at facts. I love people who think Trump cares about polls. He doesn't. All he cares about is power and money. And polls are meaningless. And if he can exercise power, the polls don't matter. If he can take over elections, if he can get all your personal information, do you know all this Social Security? They all lied about that. Doge took people's Social Security private information and moved it over to other people. Nobody cares. That's what's going on. They're taking databases of people, making databases of people taking videos. That's called power. That's called money. He doesn't care, Joe. The polls are meaningless to this guy. He's 80 years old. He pumps his body full of aspirin. He gets bruises all over it, and he gets cultists to roll over and say, we don't care what videos say. We don't care what facts say. It doesn't matter. That 30% is never going to leave, and we're stuck with them. We just have to hope that we make it to the election. Joe, I think it's time we get out and shovel. Well, you're not shoveling. I got to do some more shoveling. You're the man. I think I got to calm down. I'm sorry. I thank everybody in the mosh pit for talking, even those who are just BSing and don't know what they're talking about, who talk TDS and all that kind of stuff. We all know Trump is deranged, and that's what it is. It's just, here we go. These guys are gaslighting. They call you morons. They call you this. Really smart.
It's not even worth paying
Not
attention.
even waste it. So you give me, here we go. And
don't give him the oxygen.
Right. Illegal votes. None of that has to do with killing an American. They have killed 2 Americans. Remember that. They have killed 2 Americans while hiding the Epstein files, which has got so much stuff in there that he's afraid to let out. But I say, Joe, what are you calling today for the game? The games. Who are you calling?
Who's going to win?
Yeah.
Probably Seattle and New England.
You calling that? I'll tell you this, though. MMA, I tell Joe what to do every time. We win almost every time. And then Joe says, but I'm going to try some others. Let me just, because I got to have the action. And then I get this. And this is what made me feel so good. And I want everybody to know this. He texted me last night and said, I should have listened to you. And that made my heart just beat. I felt warmth all over my body because my buddy, my pledge brother, Joe Volpicelli, one of the greatest
Don't
guys.
say my last name. Not in here. Just Dr. V.
Dr. V, what? Nobody knows?
No. Keep it incognito.
Nobody knows. Nobody can figure it out, Joe.
No.
Right. Nobody knows my last name or your last name. You're right, Joe. That's the way it is. Come on. Bottom line is simple. My buddy Joe wrote me last night and said, I should have listened to you. And it made, you don't know.
Well, I said it, but
this
is the first time I could watch MMA without paying the
Paramount
$90 or whatever. It's on Paramount. So I was so excited. So the championship fight comes on and I didn't have any action. So I took the profits that we made from the earlier fights and I put it on the
and lost it. And didn't
who thought that old guy would come back and beat that young up-and-coming?
That's why I said don't do it. But instead of checking with me, which he doesn't do,
Patty the Batty.
It doesn't matter. I told him, I said, I'm not going to play this. This is not the fight to play. And of course, he doesn't listen. But he did write to me, and he did say, I should have listened to you. He has said it to me on many occasions.
Our account is down a little bit.
I
needed the action. It was fun.
I don't care about the action. I want to win money. You see, the difference between Joe and I is that I like easy money. And most of the time, it's easy money in MMA. Not easy. I mean, these guys are tough. And, man, you get in a ring, you got to be tough and just nasty and just incredible. But you can normally call a lot of them. And I've been good. I lose every now and then. He says to me, what's easy money? Oh, well, the difference is, Joe, you use that easy money and let somebody else shovel your driveway, and I got to shovel my own driveway because you're taking our profits and I can't send it to anybody. He's shaking his head because he knows I'm right. He's shaking his head because he knows I'm right. And that's the best part about this guy. Look at that smile. That's the smile I have loved for almost 55 years. He is the man, the sweetest, nicest guy, but he doesn't know how to bet.
Oh, I discovered Polygon now.
He's great.
Discovered the markets.
He's great at football. He's great at fantasy football. But you get into MMA, he can't come close to me, and he knows it. And yet he's got to get the action. And in politics, he has a problem with me.
There's some great fights, though. Weren't there some great fights?
Yeah, but the only ones I cared about were the 2 we won. And I'm writing you about the Patty, and I'm going, man.
That championship fight was fantastic.
This is what I write to Joe. Man, a tough fight, great fight. I said, this is why I didn't want to bet this fight because it's too tough. And suddenly I should have listened to you. And I didn't know you were taking any side there. That was one of those under the table. Yeah, I kind of did it, but I'm not.
That was a great fight.
I wrote him. I said, you took Patty? Silence. It was too much.
So why has the line changed so much for the games today?
I haven't been following.
All of a sudden.
Are any of them affected by the weather?
People are betting the underdog now.
Are any of them affected by the weather?
No.
Well, everybody's saying Stidham is whatever. I don't know how you could go. Well, Denver's at home. They got a good defense. I don't think they're that good. I don't think the Patriots are that good. I don't think a lot of these guys are that good. It was just that season where everybody was just kind of okay, and their heads went up, and I don't care. The Ravens ain't in. It doesn't matter. We got a good coach, Jesse Minter. I'm all excited. Hopefully that'll make a difference. I'm hoping the Orioles sign one more starting pitcher.
Phillies
Either
are
way,
not signing anybody. It's terrible.
we'll because it's the Phillies and the Eagles. Either way. Thank you all for coming. This has been a great stream. This has been a lot of fun. We'll be back Wednesday at 5. There'll always be more to talk about because we can say, thank you, Mr. President. For that, you give us a lot of viewers. Thank you all for coming. If you're square, we ain't there. And remember, this is Devolution. Not only is this a great album, not only is it great music, but we're turning into snails with little tails. If you're square, we ain't there, right, Joe? And that's the way it is. See you Wednesday at 5. Thank you again.
Period.
Thank you, Spartacus. Thanks, everybody. Mike, everybody, we love you. Say it again, Joe.
Period.
And we'll see you then. Thank you.